You don't know what this is, do you? Aztec gold. The heathen gods placed upon the gold a terrible curse.
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel Paws On Animation and our podcast.
And today we're covering the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie called Curse the Black Pearl.
Now this is the movie that started Disney's pirate legacy with Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow, as he will turn attempt to rescue Elizabeth Swan from the cursed pirate crew of Hector Barbossa.
Whew, that's a lot of names.
But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and notification for some future podcasts and multiple videos.
And thank you for joining us today, subscribing, sharing our videos, and so much more. We appreciate you guys so much.
Yes.
Now I thought I was losing it because all I remember it being called was Pirates of the Caribbean. And then when I looked it up, it said that was the original title. Like, I knew it because originally I don't think Disney planned on having sequels. They just kind of wanted to see, hey, are people going to like this?
Right. And now it's become an entire franchise in of itself.
And for those of you not familiar with the franchise, and I highly doubt it, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl is the first movie in a series of pirate movies, or fantasy swashbuckler, as it is.
Fantasy swashbuckler, okay.
And this movie came out in 2003 and was produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, distributed by Walt Disney, and is based on the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction at Disney theme parks. It says, however, we also read a novel called Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, where it was a prequel junior novel series and a manga series as well.
So they're saying it's based on the original theme park attraction. How true is that, Rascal? You are the authority.
It actually is, because there was a time where Disney was trying to make movies out of their theme park attractions that didn't have anything to them, just be in their own little places. And then they decided, let's try to make a story out of these little places and characters we have people go to every time. Now it looks like the most successful one is Pirates of the Caribbean. They tried the Country Bears, that's sort of hit or miss for people, but mostly forgotten. And then they tried to go back to that formula with Jungle Cruise, but unfortunately that one just didn't stand out enough to garner anything else with it.
And we did watch that, and we've never covered it, and there's a reason why.
Yeah.
So this particular movie, The Black Pearl, runs 143 minutes.
Yeah, pretty long.
The budget was $140 million, and this is definitely Disney's golden days. And it grossed over $654 million at the box office. And this is when you were giving people what they wanted.
Yes.
Not what you and the people who are running the studio want. What these particular women decide that every other woman and man needs.
Oh, no.
We need this type of entertainment. And if you give us this, we will come to the theaters. We'll give you our money. If you make it, we will come.
Right? And speaking of which, as you said that, there have been 5 movies so far in the franchise, and people kind of thought it was stopping after 5 because it kind of felt like it needed to end with the 5th movie. But recently they announced they're going to do either a 6th movie or a revival movie with an all-female pirate crew cast. And they said they will not be bringing back Johnny Depp due to controversies. And it's like, okay, then you don't need to bother with this franchise again anymore.
He was absolved of all blame with that. Bring back Johnny Depp. If you have an ounce of modicum of sense, you will bring back Johnny Depp. Also, you will bring back the rest of the cast that hasn't been killed off in the series.
Right.
I think Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley's characters are both still alive.
Yes.
You need to bring back the trio.
Yes.
Stop trying to give us something we didn't freaking ask for.
Right.
I don't want to see a cast of all-women pirates. If I want to see an all-women movie that's close to this with pirates, I'll watch Ocean's 8.
Right.
It's an excellent movie, by the way. And the last all-girl movie that was badass and entertaining. Nobody asked for this crap.
Right.
Back to the Black Pearl.
Yes. So this one started the entire franchise, and we actually decided to rewatch all the movies because they announced the all-female version coming back. So this has been sort of a trend for us. Every time they announce a new movie, go back and watch the old movie. It's like, oh my gosh, this was great. And Pirates of the Caribbean is no different. it was slightly different seeing this type of action in a live action movie from Disney back when they put as much effort as they would into the animated films. Because they would have their swashbuckle scenes, they like to describe it. They seemed really well choreographed. They seemed really outlandish. They treat it as if it were animated when doing all these stunts and effects and visuals. So that's kind of what I miss from both Pirates and their live action movies.
What was really fantastic about the cast here, and we'll go over them later, is this was really different from Johnny Depp. I am a huge Johnny Depp fan. I have been a Johnny Depp fan forever. He's done a couple films I wish he'd never made, but for the most part, I love his work, and he's made some great movies. This was different from him. And he said in an interview that he wanted to perform Jack Sparrow as a cross between Pepe Le Pew and Keith Richards, the guitarist from Rolling Stone.
Oh my God.
And he did an excellent job. I mean, he was unlike any character out there before people copied. There was nothing like Jack Sparrow. And he was strangely, oddly like, oh, you gotta stop. Oh, you gotta stop. Oh, Jack Sparrow! All at one time, you were turned off. You were kind of disgusted, but you were like, hey, I like him. And he managed to have all these emotions come for you at one time. And he managed to do it not for one movie, not for 2 movies, not for 3 movies, not for 4 movies, but 5 movies.
Yes.
Now, during the last movie, it kind of started to wane, and I kind of believe that Disney told him they wanted it to perform differently.
Probably.
Not leaving excellence alone.
Probably, yeah.
But this was something that hadn't been done. You'd had people do, let me think of some of these movies now, like Treasure Island.
Yes.
And Swiss Family Robinson.
Right.
And things like that based on things from the 50s and 60s.
Right.
And during the time they came out decades ago, back during that time they did well. But after that, you didn't have any type of pirate movies that you wanted to see.
Yes.
I'm not counting the classics like Mutiny on the Bounty and Moby Dick, but if someone corrects me.
Right.
What I mean is something fun like this that was different, hadn't been done, and adventure and comedy and excellent acting. It hadn't been done.
True.
And again, this is Disney's heyday in the 2000s because this movie was fantastic. And no matter how many times you watch it, you are still entertained. It is still a great watch. It is still fun.
Yeah.
And it has excellent rewatch value, and it stands, and has stood, I should say, the test of time.
Yes. And it's very good you say that because that is what it feels like when you're rewatching this film. It's like when we watch the Disney classics from decades ago or even just 10 years ago, you really miss that they used to have films like this all the time. In a way, you can understand when people say, I miss when you were excited for all these Disney movies coming out constantly. Yes, that is true, because this was a time when they could do live action, and a majority of the time, the live action, whether they were remakes or they were their own movies, they were great. And Curse of the Black Pearl was just the start of a great legacy, because when you get to this story, it still has the same values that the Disney films has, but even with pirates and being known for fighting and thievery and swashbuckling and all these things, Jack's crew was hilariously sort of like the one crew that didn't sort of do all that. It was like one piece in a way.
Pirates who don't do anything.
Right? And as you're going through here, you can see both Jack and Will gain development in this film and in the films that follow afterwards. And you think Jack's not going to learn anything or do the right thing, and then you find out he does. So he does have a heart.
Yes. Another thing is, there was not this push like there is now. We have to have strong female women. Guess what, people? In the majority of movies that have come out, there have been good movies over the past 20 years. There have always been strong female women. And Elizabeth Swan was one. Now, when she first started, she was more like princessy, but as she went on, she became stronger and more capable.
Yes.
And as you said, there was growth in the 2 male characters. You had 3 well-developed, strong characters.
Right.
And she starred in all of them.
Yes.
And then on top of that, you had supporting strong female characters like the female pirate and the witch doctor woman. And then you have and you have Penelope Cruz come later, several movies later. So I don't understand where this. strong women. You're watching the wrong movies. If you're watching garbage, you get garbage. But if you watch good movies that care about characters, development, writing, entertainment value, rewatch value, values, morals, if you're watching movies like that, you're gonna get your strong female characters every single time. And this is back when Disney was leading in providing that, as well as all the other wonderful things they were providing at that time.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's go over the exceptional cast, unless you want to talk a little more about the plot.
Maybe a little after the cast.
So we had, of course, Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow, and he was notorious, and he had drunken swagger that somehow, again, he made work.
He looked like he was drunk.
And he was trying to get his boat back. That's basically it. He wanted his ship back. That's the entire plot of the movie.
Yes,
Captain
just getting
Jack
the
Sparrow
ship.
wants his ship back.
Right, and then he'll help him as it goes on.
And hilarity and adventure ensued.
Right.
Then we had Jeffrey Rush as Captain Barbossa, and he was the captain of the Black Pearl, and he was the first mate for Jack before there was a mutiny. And he and the crew were cursed and became immortal zombies, and that was done brilliantly as well, because they looked like humans until night, and then oh my,
They're like spooky.
Yes. We had Orlando Bloom as Will Turner. He was a blacksmith's apprentice, and he had his own backstory that kept unveiling in each movie. His father was a pirate, and he was off of Lord of the Rings, where he played the elf, and women swooned over him. He clearly wanted something different than playing Legolas. Thank you. And this was it, and he did a fantastic job.
Yes.
They Keira Knightley as Elizabeth Swan, the daughter of the governor, Weatherby Swan, and she's been fascinated with pirates since childhood, and in love with Will. Strong female character. And I personally was not really familiar with her before these movies.
Right.
But I came to love her as an actress through these movies. Now, this is the main cast, including Jonathan Price, forgive me, as Governor Weatherby Swan, her dad, and kind of a jerk.
Yeah, pretty much. And they were showing sort of the royal ones were kind of jerks to everybody.
And another standout, who became a much bigger star later, is Zoe Saldana as Anna Maria.
Yeah.
And she was a pirate who wanted to confront Jack for stealing her ship. And it says that one of the film screenwriters, Terry Rossio, stated that the name Anna Maria was chosen because it was the middle name of his daughter. But she was also a strong female character and came back multiple times. You had more people who participated in making this just fantastic movie. Quite a few actors that we won't go over because it will take too long, but the entire cast was fantastic. There was not one person in this movie you looked at and went, they're not fitting.
Right.
They're not doing a good job. They don't belong here. Every single solitary person, including CGI birds and monkeys, all fit in the movie.
Yep, very much. And and the last thing to bring up for the plot is that this movie is over 2 hours long. But what stands out about rewatching this film is that it doesn't feel like you're watching 2 hours. By the time you get to the end of the movie, like, oh my gosh, it's almost the end of the movie. You're having such fun on this adventure, laughing at Jack, seeing the action, seeing character development, seeing the great choreography, great scenery, really great cinematography, and of course the music that you come to know and love that's attached to this film franchise that makes you ready and geared up for adventure.
Yes.
You really miss these types of movies, not just from Disney and the live action stuff, but just in general, because not a lot of movies take all this time and effort anymore. It's more about looking great and making a spectacle rather than actually putting a lot of effort into these events.
And I'm going to say specifically from Disney. I mean, they've been known for decades prior to whatever this is now for just giving you entertainment, family entertainment, good entertainment. And yeah, they started branching off into having more darker movies, but they still were good.
Yes.
But something has happened. And
I don't know what.
like whatever the magic they had, it looks like at this point it's not going to be regained. Every movie that comes out, they're touting as the next big thing, and then it bombs. And it bombs not only with critics, but also with fans.
Mm-hmm.
And that's unfortunate. Yes, we talk about, loving wish concepts and different things, but I think at heart, everyone over the age of 1 loves Disney.
Yeah.
And you want them to succeed, but they seem determined not to. They seem determined to do things that are opposite of doing what makes them successful.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. So, fun fact, the first teaser trailer for this movie had only 1 second of actual footage of the film.
What?
And it was attached to The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Orlando Bloom, as well as Disney's official website in December of 2002. By that time, they decided, we think we're going to have some sequels, and so they attached the name The Curse of the Black Pearl to the film.
Okay.
They didn't have a full trailer until April of 2003.
Oh, wow. So near the date of the release.
Right. And as we know, it was a box office success. It was a success with Rotten Tomatoes before they were rotten, with fans. This took over. I mean, it just took over everything.
Yes.
And they say that this launched the career for Johnny Depp as a leading man, but I disagree because he'd done other movies prior to this where he was leading. So they need to do a fact check and check it out. Because, he'd done some leading roles before this.
Okay.
And that's how his fans knew this was something different from him.
Mm-hmm.
And we were surprised at how fantastic he was.
Mm-hmm.
The comedy, just him having the comedic timing and putting all this together, and Disney giving him the freedom to perform the character as he wanted.
Right.
And that's another thing that's missing from Disney now. Do what we say, do
Or
it
you're
like
fired.
we say, or you're fired. And because they don't give the actors the freedom they used to give them, we get the same old stuff all over again.
Yeah.
But I'm really grateful for the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. I love this movie. We own 3 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
The last one probably won't ever own.
Oh,
Gotta get the 4th movie, so we have all 4 of them.
Yep.
But this is one of the franchises where you have a marathon and keep watching one after the other and be entertained and have so much fun.
Right.
Have a theme party. Have some fun. It's summer. Enjoy.
Right.
So if you've seen Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, we know you have.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know in the comments. Are you going to throw a party? Let us know.
Right. And
Do you love it? Do you think it's the best of the movies that have been released, or how do you think it ranks? Let us know in the comments. Of course, I think it's the best because it was the first. I don't know about you, Ransom.
Yeah, pretty much the same.
And if you haven't seen it, be sure to go on to Disney Plus. You can buy a DVD.
Yeah.
It's on demand. You can watch this movie
Practically anywhere.
and come back and tell us what you think, and you're welcome.
Yes. And if y'all know, subscribe for updates and we'll give you for anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us for this podcast. We will be reviewing the remaining movies for the franchise, as well as doing a comparison of a manga that was written versus the novel that was written based on the Pirates of the Caribbean first movie.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching Mask Entertainment.
And Amana Entertainment, thank you for being our specials.
Yes. Have a toontastic day.